All right, welcome to session number 2. Thank you all. This is going to be our Small Business Saturday. We're running through having different guest speakers come in and share different ways you can make alternative streams of income so that you can keep on making money and get yourself to the land of the wealthy. All right. So right now we have Ashana Evans. Ashana is a 28-year-old software engineer. She started getting into real estate during the pandemic, and her business partner and her successfully got multiple Airbnbs running in 30 days. She has experience getting over 50K in business funding for small businesses, and she has great knowledge with the do's and don'ts of starting an Airbnb business. She realized the information she learned would be beneficial to this community, so Ashana decided she would be open to come and share with us today. Welcome, Ashana.
Thank you so much, Jordan. Y'all, I'm so happy to be here. Like, y'all just don't understand. Like he said, I'm Ashana Evans, and my Airbnb LLC is actually called AM Hospitality Services. So really big on hospitality, and we're going to jump right into it. Thank you so much thank y'all for really having me. So first and foremost, I have a nice overview here, and I started to Airbnbs because I wanted passive income. I trade with Jordan, but you need more than just one other stream of income or 2 or 3. It's good to have a few. So I did my research, my due diligence, and I became a profitable Airbnb host, a super host at that. So I'm so glad to be speaking with you guys, and I'm glad that y'all here investing in yourselves for sure. So the quick overview is we're going to talk about corporate leasing, and that's actually different from regular personal leasing or even owning a home. Is specifically for apartments, and I'll get into that. And then we're going to talk about startup fees, a little quick talk about business funding, because like I said, I've been helping small businesses get that money so you can start up your businesses. And then we're going to have a tentative listing schedule on how to go from beginning and end to the Airbnb's profit margin, what AMHS, which is AM Hospitality Services, provides, and then a Q&A. So also, I like interactions. So I'm going to have quizzes throughout this, and I have 3 screens. So if you see me doing like 1, 2, 3, they're all right here. I'm all looking at all you guys, but I got quizzes. So I'm going to want y'all to interact with me. So have your chat open, and let's get started. So first and foremost, what is corporate leasing? So a corporate lease is essentially when a residential unit or a complex allows a corporate, an LLC, to sublease those apartments to anyone or anybody. And you can have short-term corporate leases, you can have long-term corporate leases, and so forth. So with that, though, the corporate lease allows you to have liabilities of the apartment or whatever you're leasing on the LLC, not you personally. I know there's a lot of Airbnb gurus out there that's like, I did it through my personal name. And that's not what I did. Not saying what they did is wrong. It's not what I did. So it is perfectly, I think it was easier, and also just that liability to allow me to be one entity, my LLC be one entity, and that is who is leasing the apartment complex. Because like I said, my Airbnbs are all apartments. I think that was my way to go. I am want to get into the mortgage and stuff, but right now, Airbnbs is where I'm at, the apartments is where I'm at. So when starting your Airbnb journey, you want to decide whether you want to do the personal route or the corporate lease. Now with corporate lease, some of the time you do have to just be the personal guarantor behind it, but on the lease, it says AM Hospitality Services. And one of my leases, I am the personal guarantor, but that's more so if anything falls through with my LLC, then I have to go in. But a lot of times my LLC is good to go, and there hasn't been any liability or any issues with that. And of course, there's renter's insurance, all of that you can get through your LLC. So that's what I love about corporate leasing. So the next thing we're going to discuss about is how to get started, those startup fees. And specifically, all of my Airbnbs are one bedroom, one bathroom apartments. So these numbers aren't to scale for a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, and so forth. So, but the main thing to get started is having an LLC. And the LLC, a lot of the times with these apartment complexes, they will require you to at least have it 1 year so you can show them your business taxes, show that you've been profitable, and so forth. And then the location of your Airbnb. I currently live in Atlanta. My Airbnbs are all in Houston. The Airbnb structure in Atlanta was a little bit too much red tape, and I just did not want to go or deal with any of that. So I actually went to Houston, where my business partner is, and did a lot of cold calls, which is that third bullet. Cold calls, cold calls, cold calls. I'm calling, hello. And you don't ask, do you do Airbnbs? That's the key thing that like turns people's heads off. You can specifically say, do you allow short-term corporate leasing? And that will like open the door to at least, you know, get more information, figure out what application you might have to do, and go from there. And business funding and cleaning company, that is like I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 main things that you really need when you're starting it. And further from there, those key startup fees, of course, if you're starting the LLC or creating a new LLC under the LLC that you already have, those startup fees go into there. For a 1-bedroom apartment, $5K is a lot, but that was like our startup fee for the whole furnishing, from the kitchen appliances, like coffee maker and stuff like that, to the bed. And you can make those costs lower, but I would say like that is a good like high point to have that there. And then of course the monthly fees, Wi-Fi, utilities, and even if you have Airbnb management tools, which I would discuss later, those are accrued fees as well. So you want to make sure before even starting Airbnbs, what do I need to make in order to make sure that I have a profitable Airbnb? What is my startup fee? Don't just go buying a place and be like, you don't know what's the next step. So I said it was gonna be quizzes, so pull out that check. Let's see if y'all's paying attention. So when having a corporate lease, who is liable, you or the LLC? And am I sharing my screen? Can y'all see it? Okay. Okay. All right. Yes. Keep on. Yes, y'all answering it right. Okay. I done passed the slide. This is what I get for being so excited. All right. Let me go back. Is this it? Ooh, that's good. Okay. And then the next question: are cold calls required to starting an Airbnb? Yes or no? It's not required, you're right, but I did it. Yeah, so it's kind of a trick question. I did it. You know, you might have connections and all that, but I did do it. I would say it's not required, trick question, but it is definitely the yes, y'all are right, the no's, you're right. Whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm comfortable with talking and meeting new people and all of that. So I was comfortable calling all these apartments, called at least 50 my first time around, and then I was able to go from there. So definitely that. So the next thing we're going to talk about is business funding. And this is just a high level overview of business funding. Like, this is not everything. I just wanted to get some key things out there, especially for those small business people. And sorry, this guy's out. Thank you. But just let's talk about that business funding. The first thing and foremost, a lot of things with business funding, people think it's just a business, but you want to make sure your personal credit is there. Even at the end of the day, a lot of these lenders and anybody that you're getting money from, they're gonna look at you, even though your business is an entity. If you are trustworthy with your own money, then they're like, okay, we can trust them in their business. So, okay, you're not seeing my screen. Let's make sure. I'm gonna
No,
stop.
I see your screen. I see your screen. It's saying personal credit and LLC setup.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure. If y'all maybe on your phone, maybe swipe. Sometimes it's like you might be seeing the people, and that might be where you at. But thank you for doing that. The next thing is removing those unwanted inquiries. A lot of the time, people don't know. You don't even have to mail anything into the credit bureaus. On creditkarma.com, you can actually dispute. Equifax, you can dispute. TransUnion, you can dispute. And it's like a click of like 3 buttons, and you can dispute those unwanted inquiries in like 5 minutes. And they'll try to take it off. And a lot of the times people think you have to wait the 5+ years for hard inquiries or 2+ years for it to come off. You can just make sure you're always monitoring your credit. And if you see something that's not supposed to be there, dispute it. And you can do that online. You can call too. Sometimes it's easier to call, but you know, some people don't like to call. And then low debt income ratio and low credit utilization. So that's big. Whenever you have credit, you don't want to be spending 20 to 50% of a card. Sometimes I would say at most 20%. Don't spend more than 20%, especially if it's a lower, what is it called? A lower credit limit, like 1,000, and you spend 200. That's kind of a lot. But if you have 100,000, 20,000, it just depends. I would say at most 20%. I think that's still too much, but you know, to each his own. And then the next thing is LLC setup. These are, like I said, it's not everything, but you want to create that LLC, that DUNS number, the EIN. Get a Google Suite Gmail. Don't just be out here emailing from your personal email account. Make it professional. Make it have that 1-800 number. And then we're going to talk about that business money, which is the next thing, creating your business checkings and savings accounts, because you can't be putting your money in your own account. That's not good. You want to make sure everything for your business is set up correctly. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is those TOPS business cards, especially for small businesses. A lot of people think that even if you don't have any profit yet, or you're yourself, you're your only employee, yes, you can have business funding. And it's a lot of companies like Amex and Chase, which is just two that I'm naming here. There's still way more than that, but they're no annual fee cards. They're able to create your business checking account. That's why I like Chase. You create a business checking account and try to inquire about their business credit at the same time. And it's not going to be multiple inquiries at once when you're opening the account and trying to inquire about their credit limit. So really, a lot of the times you can do a lot of this credit stuff online as well. I like going into the bank, especially with Chase. Can you use an S corp, or has to be an LLC? So possibly you probably can use an S corp, but I haven't had what is it called? I haven't done it that way. I would say S corp is still an entity of business, so I think that is still possible. But yes, Business Inc. and Amex, the Platinum and the Gold, I got them all. I got them all. And it's really easy to do them online. And it's best to also do all of these inquiries whenever you're trying to get business funding. Have a day to do multiple at the same time, because if you're doing them if you're doing one week, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, like, you're going to mess up your credit, because sometimes they want to look at your personal credit for a soft inquiry, not a hard inquiry, but those soft inquiries still show up on your credit report. So just sit down, dedicate yourself for maybe an hour or two to really just do all the applications at once, and then go from there. And, and even if you get declined, it's okay 3 months, 6 months down the line to show up, get some more profit margins and show some more bank statements. You can reapply. There is a no is not no forever with banking. So definitely try again. But these are like really great for small businesses. Very great credit limits, great customer service. And that's why I like these two. There's still way more. But I just wanted to just give a quick overview. So, just name one of the ones I just said. What's one of the top business funding credit funds for small businesses? It might not be the top for everybody, but small businesses. There you go. We're on the same page. Me and Jordan really be talking about the money. But yes, y'all, Ashana, do you have a website for your LLC? And does that help you? Yes. So I'm going to talk about that later as well. Having a custom direct booking website for your Airbnbs, that's also another thing that I'm going to talk about. But yes, Chase Platinum, Amex, y'all doing it. Y'all paying attention. I like that. I like that. So we're gonna keep the ball rolling. Now we're going to talk about that tentative Airbnb listing. So when you start with Airbnb, in my intro, in 30 days, I was able to have my Airbnb up and running and a guest within the 31st day. Like, as soon as it was up, I had inquiries that next day. So I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So the main thing is, I would say the main part of it, the 2 months or if it's 1 to 2 months, if you don't have 30 to 60 days, is really those, yes, get a NAV account. That is something that you definitely want. But the main thing is finding that property, those cold calls, making sure, do I want it in the state that I live in? Do I want it in a major city? Because that might be, you might actually get more bite or more bang for your buck. That's why mine are in Houston, because there's actually a lot of Airbnb type apartments in Houston. The place that I even have mine at, there's a whole wall full of lock boxes, because that complex is known for Airbnb. So that's why you really want to find that property that's catered towards you. Or if you want a house, actually do that research. See what the market research is in that whole neighborhood. Are there other Airbnbs near the Airbnb that you listed? And then you go from there. So once you find the property, you sign everything, the ball is rolling. I have the templates for what is needed, key essentials for Airbnb, what is like he said, the do's and don'ts on having the lock boxes, how to have a Ring camera set up, even for apartments. All of that is listed in like my whole package of what I do for anybody that I'm listing or managing their Airbnbs, because you really want to make sure like it's a checklist type thing. So that's how you're able to do it within 2 to 4 weeks, because you already have been doing the process over and over again. So I would say 2 months, that allowed me to really see the profit of return in what I had put in. Like I said, my startup costs were like $5K, but by my 3rd month, I was making over 3-4K a month. And I was able, like, that was also including, that was the revenue, that was the revenue. I was making 3 or 4K in revenue, which allowed me to pay the rent and also get a return in my investment back. So I would say 2 months allows you to hopefully get profit on that property, and then profit on the property, and then improve systems to be automated, because you want to, like I said, I live in Atlanta. I go to my Airbnb maybe like once a year, not even, and I've had it for like 2.5 years. And because I don't have to go there, I have everything automated for me to send my Amazon, my toiletries, send my cleaning lady, make sure she picks up any packages. Like I have everything set up that I don't physically have to go to my Airbnb to make sure things are running smoothly. So that is a tentative schedule. Things can change. Like I have a 1-bedroom apartment. I don't know how it is for a full house to set all of that up. That is different. But these are the profit margins. Like I was saying, for my apartment, it's $1,500 in rent, and the utilities are like $200 maybe. So I would say a total of $1,700. But outside of that, I was making like $2 to $3 grand when you're outside of the basis outside of what I had to pay for like the utilities and monthly things. So this is just a chart of just when you have a guest and you're booking and you're making sure everything is automated, you can really see that return in a good amount of time. What did you look for? Yes, close to a hospital. Mine is directly next to the NRG Stadium in Houston, if anybody knows about that. And NRG Stadium is where like Astro World was held. I hit up my guests. I was like, "Are you okay? Are you like, I heard all this happens," because it's a really prominent area, and it's also next to a hospital. So like a lot of my guests are nurses. My first guests were 2 doctors, and they were looking for a home. So yes, definitely want to make sure you outside. Yeah, you definitely just want to make sure that location is key. And I did visit to go look at it in the beginning, but after that, I didn't have to go because I knew the area was kind of up and coming, and not up and coming, but a great area for Airbnb. So what HMS provides for the community, like these are things that we were talking about, the custom direct booking, but I manage the property day-to-day, communication templates that I can help send out. We have cleaning services in Atlanta, not in Atlanta, in Houston. And property manager, I can be a property manager. I've done that for about 2 other Airbnbs. They pay all the bills, and I make sure everything with the guests, hospitality is set to go. So, and then like those direct booking sites, you don't have to have it on Airbnb, on Vrbo, or even booking.com. You can have your own direct booking like link, and it will then allow guests you will get more of the fee. Not more of the fees, but you will get less of those Airbnb fees, and you'll be able to, make some profit. But I usually only use those direct booking sites for trustworthy guests, and not to, I use it for guests that are returning, or guests that I know that if I'm using my direct booking site, I don't have to go through any of Airbnb's fees. So definitely want to make sure you have all your ducks aligned. So that's my spiel. I hope it was good, and this is my contact information. It's time for Q&A, and yeah, how I do.
I love your energy. This is Rosa. And a lot of people in the chat was saying that your smile is contagious. So yeah, loving your energy, girl.
Y'all did. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for even coming. Wait, what questions?
Thank you for sharing.
No problem. And I can share. And like, if y'all have any questions, I am in the Discord with Jordan. My name is something different in there, but like I said, these are my Instagram. You could DM me, email me, and we could go from there. Oh, thanks. Jordan, how I do? Over there,
hello,
No,
this was great.
Okay.
I had a question. I know you were recommending apartments, but I do have a home that's close to a hospital, and I do rent it under Airbnb. So I will be curious to know how to like convert it to a corporate listing. So is it possible to do just a single townhouse as a corporate listing?
It should be. It should be now because it's you own it, right? You're the
Mhm.
like, so you could lease it to yourself. You could lease it to your corporate and create like an entity around that. I'm pretty sure, but you probably got to see if you can become a landlord. I don't know if there's a landlord rules or anything in your state, but you probably could just lease it to your lease your room or your townhouse into that LLC, and then whenever you have a guest, you can list it as the LLC instead of your name. You'll just be like the host, but the name of the entity will be your company.
The LLC. Okay, thank you.
How you at? Oh, the increase in rental rates. So Houston, it ain't reached them yet. So thankfully, and a lot of things when I renewed my lease, actually, you were able to get a lower rate when you renewed at an earlier time. So I made sure I renewed in enough time to not my rate go up, because they were like, if you renew 2 months or 3 months, your rent is going to go up $500-$600. But I will say, what I have gotten hit by, my cleaning company, they raised their prices. My utilities didn't get raised, but the main thing was my cleaning person. I was like, girl, you charging a lot of money. But I understood that that's what was happening in the community. Like, she really needed to make sure she was getting her money's worth because of all of the gas, everything that was going up around her. So we did have to raise our nightly prices to make sure we offsetted that and make sure our cleaning fee was covered. But that was the main thing that I was hit with. Do you have a minimum days? Yes, my minimum days is 2, because when I was doing 1 days, you have to have a cleaning lady come every time. So, I mean, we did that because we didn't think that was appropriate to not let someone come, even if it was just someone staying for a day. Anytime a guest comes and checks out, our cleaning company gets a message, an automated message, like, a guest has booked. These are their beginning and end dates. So those 1 days, you're losing money because your cleaning lady has to come, and all those 1 days in between. So I say at least 2 days. So at least you're getting your money's worth, the cleaning lady getting their money worth, and you're not just going to your Airbnb every single day and wasting gas and money for a 20-second clean. Because hopefully no one tears up your apartment in 1 day, but yeah.
If you did great to answer your first question. So just kind of general, because of course the market matters, the type of home matters, so many factors matter. But like, generally speaking, and of course, you might be able to provide a little help with the development of the process. How much money do you think it would take to start, whether it be just a small apartment, it could be a small apartment, but just starting in a nice city? If you were walking somebody through a process, you say, hey, look, start with about 10,000, 5,000. What would that kind of short process look like?
Yeah, so starting off, I would say double whatever that startup fee was, so 10K, because you want to have a reserve. You don't want to say, I want 5K just for furniture, and then that's it. Now you just stuck. When you just paid 5K for furniture, you can't pay the rent, you can't pay the deposit, you can't pay all of that. Like, all of that, I would say double your startup fee, so then you can have a reserve for any emergency. You got to pay for a moving person, the cleaning lady hasn't came, or you have to shift and turn. So you want to make sure, I would say 10K is a good starting fee for a 1-bedroom apartment, but whatever that starting fee is for just your furniture, your down payment, all of that, double it, because you want to make sure you got your own reserve. You do not want to be out here and say, I don't have nothing left because I just spent it all on everything. So just double that cost or whatever you think you're starting with. So if I started with 5K, I had 10K available, so I can make sure I can move around and do what I need to do before I even had my first guest, because you're paying for stuff without having even a guest yet. So you want to make sure, like, if I don't have no guest this month, I can't pay my rent because I just did all this. So like, but usually you do. But yeah, hopefully that answers the question.
So you would say that's around about a good starting point for an apartment that you
Yes,
want to rent out?
10K.
Okay. How long do you think it would take to recoup that investment, just in an average market, just From what
Average market, I would give yourself 4 months, because this market is a little bit different. It was 2 months when we were starting because the pandemic was booming. People actually wanted to stay at Airbnbs rather than a hotel because of like the hotel industry. They realized they didn't clean them that well and all that, so they was booking Airbnbs left and right. So I would say 4 months, let's say 4 to 6 months, to really make sure you're getting a return in your investment and you're putting money aside, not outside of those monthly fees that you may have. So yeah, that's a good 4 to 6 months. And a lot of things when I was talking about just automated, having things automated, is I have automated tooling, automated messaging. So my guests, I'm not even emailing or texting them half the time. I have things set up when they're like, oh, where do I park? A message automatically sends to them. I have guidebooks. So then when they come to the city, a lot of my guests aren't from Houston. It's a whole guidebook, things where to eat, things to do. That's the thing about hospitality. You're not just giving them a place to stay. You actually want to make their whole experience amazing. Like I have returning guests all the time. So this is a good question. The main thing about doing a daily rate, a lot of the times Airbnbs are the one, if you have one, there's some in your area. So you want to see what are their rates, what are they doing. You can look that up with just searching that zip code area. How are they doing? A lot of times the higher prices, they're super hosts. They've been on the platform for a long time. You don't want to have a higher price than a super host and you are just starting out. If you want to, you can, but you want that median price. And even Airbnb gives you a range when you're starting out. They're like, in your neighborhood, this is a range price that is currently happening because of the address that you put in. So they give suggestions as well. So you definitely don't have to just guess a daily rate from there. And another thing, after daily rates, monthly, and you can give discounts on those monthly, weekly rates, and instead of just saying you have to pay this up front. So you can make sure you reel them in. How did you find good people to support your business, like cleaning? I want to tell you, I went through hell and high water. I'm be for real. My last clean lady is the best one that I have now, but it was one person that tried to cuss me out and it was because I didn't want to use her again. But we said it was a trial period. Like she was paid and everything, but she was like, I don't want none of your effing business. Like what? So it can definitely take some time. I've had 3 different cleaning ladies over the 2.5-3 years that I've had. My first cleaning lady had a baby, so she just couldn't do it anymore. The second one was the one that cussed me out, but the third one, I really use that social media. I was DMing, cold calling, asking around, what's your rate? Do you do Airbnbs? Can I have some pictures? And those, you want to make sure you do a trial period with them and even put them on contract, because I do have a contract with my cleaning lady, because you just want to make sure everything is professional, everything is above ground, and that you're ready to go. So I hope that answered your question. For your future properties, would you stay with an apartment or shift? So I do want to actually get a townhome. I think the bigger home will allow me to get more families and as such, because a lot of the times I have like at most 4 guests, and if you were able to have more guests, you're actually able to charge more. So with 4 guests, my nightly rate now is I think 100 a night, 100 to 120. And then on holidays are different. Always make sure your holidays, if the Super Bowl is in your city, raise them up, raise the price. It's totally fine because everyone else is doing it. But definitely I do want to shift. But for right now, with how the market is and those mortgage rates that Jake was talking about, my renting is just fine. And currently I'm in a house. I own a home. So it's not, I got mine, but I realized that Airbnb rentals and apartments was just easier for me. It wasn't so much hustle and bustle with a mortgage company, all of that. It was straight to the point. So hopefully that answers your question. What are the pros and cons of doing a corporate lease? So the pros, I haven't had any cons yet. Oh, the main con is there aren't some places that don't do corporate leasing. So if you really, really want the apartment, you're like, this is the best one. I know it's good. And they're like, we don't offer corporate leasing. And you're like, dang, that's gonna mess me up. But I didn't get charged a higher price. The main thing was maybe having that 1 year of business and showing your business taxes that could, stifle you getting one, because a lot of the places, they're like, we want to see 1 year of business taxes. Sometimes they say they want to see 2 years of business taxes. So that might be one con. But personally, I wouldn't put my name on a lease with how, if y'all have seen the TikTok Airbnb horror stories of people trashing people places and doing all of that, and if it's under your name, then it can go real left. You can really mess up your own credit and things like that. So hopefully that answers your question. AirDNA. Oh, AirDNA. Okay, I haven't heard of that one, so I'll check that one out. What systems you use to provide? So there is a site called Hostfully or Guestly. They changed their name twice, so I think it's called Guestly, but it allows you to set up templates with your guests. So if they use a keyword, like say if they say, where's the pool, you can have a keyword message already prompted and it will automatically send to them. I also have automatic messages for when they check out, when they check in, but that's on Guestly, GUESTLY.com, and I could type it in the chat when I'm done too. But it's a monthly subscription that sets up everything, so everything is really automated. Even for your cleaning person, you can add them as a authorized user, and it'll send out messages whenever you have a good guest. Where did you see the direction of Airbnb business in the next few years? Some laws are starting to be more restrictive, so definitely things are being more restrictive. I would say in Houston though, where I have mine listed, they're actually building more Airbnb complexes. Even in Atlanta, there's a whole place in Atlanta that's about to be built, I think 70 units solely for Airbnb. Like, they're realizing that we should start, well, how Jake was saying, people are putting money into apartment complexes, units, they're putting money into that, and single family homes, because that's where a lot of the money is going. So, and you don't have to have a mortgage to have a big unit, and you could just rent it out to people, sublease it. So I think it's actually going to get more lucrative to have Airbnbs and real estate, because people always gonna need a place to stay. That even hotels, they're purchasing like a real estate to have for corporates and people to have places to stay. Even when I was an intern in 2017, that's how I even heard of corporate leasing. I got a corporate lease through my company, because companies are purchasing places for their interns so then they can have a place to stay. And I was like, I didn't know that was a thing. So I think it's going to be more lucrative, honestly. So hopefully that answered your question. Y'all got good questions. At what point would you consider Airbnb attempt to be a fail or lack thereof? I'm gonna be truthful. I had 4 Airbnbs and I lost one because it was definitely the rent. It was a luxury apartment and I didn't lose it, but I was like, I need to get out of this. It's too much money. And I just could not handle that. It wasn't getting booked as much as it should have. I thought it would, because it was a luxury apartment, and it was almost $3,000 in rent, and we was charging, you usually charge like double so you can make sure you make the rent back and some profit. So I was mostly doing monthly, what is it called? Monthly guests. Like, I did not want a day guest or a two-day guest. I wanted guests that was there in 2-3 months and I can get my money back. But it was just not booking. And I was like, what am I supposed to do here? So honestly, me and my business partner sat down, we said, we shouldn't keep this. We should definitely keep the ones that we have, get rid of this and go about our day. And we did. We washed our hands with it. That didn't mess up our business with our other Airbnbs. And because it was an apartment, which is the pro, you just broke the lease. Like, you paid the fee to break the lease and you went about your day. Like, you don't have to sell it. You don't have to redo anything. You just like take your stuff out. And I sold my furniture and all that, and that was it. So that was the pro of having an apartment. And with corporate leases, you can break your lease as well. That's the main thing. So definitely, I would say not 1 month, because we did about, I would say it was like 5 months, because the first 3 months was successful, but then it started just to nothing, like barely, like maybe 2 bookings. And I was like, okay, this not working. So I would say it depends on, I would say not after 1 month, only because a lot of the time Airbnb is an algorithm. So because you're new, you're not going to be at the top of the list anyway. So you don't want to just say, oh, I didn't get any bookings, but it's because the algorithm isn't putting you at the top. So you got to make sure you have those keywords, things that make sure people are catching your eye, getting those views, and looking at that performance tool, because Airbnb gives a tool to say, these are the views you're getting this month. Add a new keyword. What is that different? What did that do? What did that change things? Changing that daily rate. And Guestly also has a varying rate where you can say, if I'm not getting bookings for a week, you can change my rate to this, which is what I like. And you don't have to go in and do it yourself. It makes sure it's always learning and understanding your Airbnb. So if you already have an LLC before trying Airbnb, could you show the history of your taxes? You can, absolutely. That's what we did. We had an Airbnb, or our hospitality services, we actually let it, build its NAV credit, do all of that for a few. Our place allowed us to do it in 6 months. They just changed the rule to a year, but we had 6 months of business credit and everything. And we had, they didn't ask for our business taxes. They literally, like I said, the rules is changing. They was changing them while we was already there. And I'm like, well, okay. But so essentially, if you have those business taxes, as long as you are showing them, I think that's fine. It doesn't have to be an Airbnb or real estate type of LLC, because it's really the name that's going on there. Now, what I should say is your LLC, if it is like, let's say you sell gym shoes on the side, if anything is liable, if anything happens, your gym shoe business and your Airbnb business can be, all the funds. You don't want to misentangle funds. So if you do start doing Airbnb on the LLC you already have, make sure the other stuff that you were already doing on their LLC is kind of, structured so that nothing is touched from those other businesses. So hopefully that answered your question. What was helpful for you to become a super host? Oh, I'm telling you, what was helpful was really interacting with that guest. Like my automated messages, I hit them up the second day they come in. The third, how y'all doing? What y'all need? And it's not me, it's the automated, but really making sure your guest has the best time ever. And also hitting them up after. I have an automated tool that hits them up 2-3 days after they checked out and just say, thank you for staying. Please review, make sure you come back. And those small little things, and even inside your apartment, snacks, have a little coffee maker, things like that, to make sure that that guest is having the time of their life. And if every guest is having a 5-star experience, you're going to be a super host in no time. Like, there is literally only reason that you might not become a super host is your cleaning company doesn't clean it well, or you're not interacting with your guests. And also pictures. You want to, on Airbnb, they actually have a photography thing where you can book a photographer through Airbnb. It was like $60, and they'll give you professional photos of your apartment. So it's like, have those professional photos taken, because it's gonna just give you that one that's gonna make people go to your page, read your reviews, and say, I want to stay here. And then you go from there. And discounts help too. That helped me get up there, because it's about stays and stars. So you want to have a good amount of stays and high ratings. That's the main thing. So okay, LOL, you about to be answering questions for the next 30 minutes. What else y'all got? How do you market your listing besides the app if applicable? Okay, so I was also sending it to friends and family, because Houston is a really big spot. So if I noticed people was going to Houston, or they're like, if you notice big events like Astro World, I was referring my friends, like, you going to Astro World? Okay, I got Airbnb. You going to Battle of Bands? I got Airbnb. I will send the link out. So it really is marketing yourself. But I necessarily don't have a separate marketing thing, because my Airbnb speaks for itself as of right now. Maybe if I look back on it, would I've done more marketing? Maybe, but Airbnb does pretty good marketing on its own. And like I said, I would just suggest it to friends and family to really get those bookings into my system. So yes. Oh, thank y'all for the fire. Oh, 16 new messages. Let me scroll. So you broke the lease. Did it affect your credit? No, it did not affect my credit, because it was a corporate lease. It didn't even affect my business credit, because it didn't show. I broke the lease in amicable. Like, it's not like I just did not pay my rent and left. Like, we signed an agreement, said the lease was over, and that was it. So it really was like a termination of the lease, and it didn't affect my credit. No, it wasn't. It will only affect your credit if you wasn't paying your bills before leaving and just up and left. So how did you get out the lease in the situation when the lease? Okay. So honestly, we had a really good relationship with the manager of the complex. And that's another thing. Whenever you're leasing with the management company that you're leasing it from, you want to make sure you know people by name. Like I could text the manager and say, hey, could you make sure the key's available for XYZ guests? Because they did that luxury apartment had a bellhop person that they will have you had to have that name of the guests on the list before them coming in to get the key. So I just texted her and we just had a conversation, a sit down and said, this isn't working. And it was really just a professional break of the lease, or like I said, termination of the lease. And we just went from there. So good places to get furniture. Dump store, it's called The Dump. I don't know why, that's not a great name, but it's a good place to get a whole thing. Rooms to go. Amazon, do not sleep on Amazon. I got a whole pull-out couch from Amazon that we put together, and it is literally amazing. Only one thing, we had to get it screwed. Somebody had some fun on our pull-out couch and we had to somebody screw the mattress back in. But Amazon, do not sleep on that, and make sure everything's delivered, set up, and good to go before booking your first guest. You don't want to put your Airbnb up and your furniture not there. So you want to, whenever you go live, you're going to have inquiries that pretty much the next minute or maybe the next hour. So you want to make sure everything is really polished and put together. But yes, Amazon, the dump store, rooms to go, and don't sleep on Facebook Marketplace. It is okay to get like a bed frame from your cousin. I would say get a new mattress. That's the main thing. Make sure any furniture that you have disinfected. But you know, you can have a coffee maker from the Family Dollar. Like as long as it works, people gonna use it. So you don't have to have the biggest and best things in your apartment. I had a lot of my kitchen utensils Family Dollar. The forks, the spoons, the creamer, you can get all of that from Family Dollar. What would you have done differently if you started tomorrow, but have the knowledge that you have now? What I would do differently is I actually bought a lot of my furniture new, and I told my business partner that we don't have to buy our furniture brand spanking new, but he wanted to because it was like, oh, it's just gonna be so much nicer. But a lot of times you can get decent furniture that's slightly used or not overly used, and you can pay less. So that's why if I had to start all over, I would not get everything brand spanking new. It does not have to be new for you to have a profitable Airbnb. Now, don't have stuff that's 10, 15 years old in your place now either. Just, make sure it's a good thing. I want to know how y'all reacting too. My Zoom don't do that. Might be extreme, but do you have an LLC for each property? No, I do not. I have the same LLC. And you want to make sure the name, like we have hospitality services, because we do provide like management. We have all of our LLCs are under the one entity because that's what we wanted to do. Now you can, like you said, it does sound extreme. I don't see why you would want all of them, but I do see why you don't want all of them to be liable or someone have access to all of them. But with apartments, as long as like your renter's insurance is really going to cover you a lot, because you're going to make sure if anything happens, flooding, fire, all of that, that's going to be through the renter's insurance, you're good to go. But even Airbnb, whenever you have a guest, one of my Airbnb guests broke a chair. We went through Airbnb, sent the ticket off. They gave us the money for the chair. We bought him the chair. So a lot of times you could just use that renter's insurance or anything that happens with Airbnb. They have those things in place so that you're not just SOL when things get broken, or, a guest lost a key. You send Airbnb like, here's the messages of them losing the key. I need a new key. And they'll reimburse you for all of that and make sure, like, I don't know how they reimburse. I'm pretty sure they get the money through the guest, whatever card information is on file, but they make sure the host gets the money back. Is insurance through Airbnb. So we have separate renter's insurance. I have it through Progressive, but Airbnb has its own situation for whatever happens with that guest. Like I said, they lost a key. You're not going to go through your renter's insurance for a lost key. You go through Airbnb's portal and say, hey, here's the information, and go through there. But if it's fire, flood, all of that, that's how the renter's insurance comes into play. But thank y'all. Y'all so sweet. Thank y'all so much. I'm glad this is helpful. Again, what's been helpful for the first few guests? I usually only book super hosts. Yeah, the first few guests is them discounts. That's how you go. Honestly, if you say I'm doing 10% off, you book 3 days, and even when they inquire, you can say, I thank you for inquiring. I'm gonna give you a special discount right now. And they'll be like, hey, I'll take it. They won't even look at nobody else's property because they want to inquire through you because they like it. They've already viewed it. They want to stay here. They're just looking at other properties, but you gotta reel them in, take them and say, okay, I'll give you a discount if you book through me, and then that's gonna build up your guests and your ratings. But yeah, thanks for having me. I had a good time. Oh, thank y'all.
Thank you. Yeah. Cool. Thank you again. We stopped that recording.